I'm Jill Storstein and I work in two practices. I have a practice here in Edinburgh at the Albany Street Clinic and I also have a practice in Aberfeldy where I live.
What's the difference between the two clinics?
The difference between the two clinics is the Albany Street Clinic is run by two other acupuncturists who I started working with shortly after I graduated here, and they do a lot of this promotion. They have their own website and things, and book patients in for me. My own clinic in Aberfeldy, I rent a room there and I have my own website and I generate my own clients there. And there's quite a different focus in the type of treatments that we do. I do a lot of fertility work here in Edinburgh and Aberfeldy. It's a really broad range of people that I see. I see a lot of people for chronic pain conditions, back pain, shoulder pain, that sort of thing. But I also do quite a lot of support with some elderly people who are supporting their sort of decrepit spouses and things, and just the emotional things that come alongside that. I treat a lot of arthritis. I treat younger people. I have quite a lot of pregnant ladies who come to me for support for symptoms in pregnancy or preparing for birth. It's a very broad range actually. Some people I have for headaches, dizziness, all sorts of things, all ages across the piece.
And casting your mind back, Jill, to when you started in practice, how did you build your practice with your patients?
I think when I first graduated, one of the first things I did to build my practice was to offer my services as a locum to local practitioners in Edinburgh, and that was a really good way just to get working initially. So I did a bit of cover for an acupuncturist who was away on holiday for a month. I did a bit of cover for Fiona here at the Albany Street Clinic and for Rachel as well. And then I found a practice that had an acupuncturist at it previously but hadn't been there for a little while. And I rented that room initially, and so I had quite a few people coming from that acupuncturist who moved on to a different part of the city, and that really helped to generate my business. And then just learning how to build websites and that sort of thing, doing a bit of promotional things with Facebook, making contact with local GP surgeries and so on, and just getting myself known in the community and what I do. And gradually it kind of built up.
How long would you say it took you to sort of be at the point where you're quite happy with your practice?
It's quite a difficult question to answer. How long it took me to have enough of a patient base to be happy with my practice. I think to begin with I still kept the day job, so I was working part-time in my office job, and started off with 1 day a week and then gradually built up to 2 days a week. And then I was at the point where I felt like I could give up my part-time job to work full-time on the acupuncture, and that was about a year that I did that after graduating. And once I gave up my part-time job, actually my practice grew quite rapidly, because I had more time to put into the business, more energy to put into it, and I think my confidence had grown a lot in that first year as well.
How many years now is it since you trained at the Northern College of Acupuncture?
I trained at the Northern College of Acupuncture and I graduated in 2013, so that's nearly 5 years that I've been in practice, and I think that my confidence and skill base has increased year on year until making me a very confident and happy practitioner now.
Casting your mind back to when you were training, is there something that you can pick out from your training that you specifically kind of felt, really helped you, to become this confident practitioner that you are now?
I think in my training, things that helped me to become a confident practitioner was the time in clinic. You get a lot of time in clinics right from the beginning of the course, so first, second and third year, building up to by the end of third year, you're treating patients yourself while you're still checking in with the supervising acupuncturists who are there. You're largely taking charge of the treatment plans, and that really, I think, sets you in good steading for when you get into practice on your own and you're with your first real patient that you're responsible for without the sort of training wheels, as it were.
Now, we talk quite a lot at the Northern College of Acupuncture about the bonds of friendship that are made between you and your cohort group. Has that been the case for you, Jill?
I do still keep in touch with some of my colleagues that I studied with when I was at the Northern College of Acupuncture. It was a really friendly course. We had you build up good friendships with people while you're studying, and I really got a lot out of it. And although we're all over the country, some of my friends actually even live abroad now. Some live down in the south of England, some north of England, and a couple of friends that are in Scotland as well. So yes, I keep in touch. And actually, not just people that I studied with directly, but also people in other years, because most of the practitioners in Edinburgh and other parts of Scotland did study at the Northern College of Acupuncture, so we have quite a good little community kind of going on.
Are there any specific challenges about working as a practitioner in Scotland?
I wouldn't say there's so much specific challenges working as a practitioner in Scotland, but perhaps because we don't have an acupuncture school in Scotland, there's maybe not as many acupuncturists in Scotland as there are in other parts of the UK. And so we need to do quite a lot of, especially in areas where there hasn't been much acupuncture offered, we need to do quite a bit of educating the public what we do and what we can offer as acupuncturists. But I find that making contact again with GPs and other local professionals, networking with other healthcare providers really helps to sort of raise that awareness, and then they'll be more likely to recommend people to me and vice versa.
What would you say to somebody who said they were thinking about studying acupuncture, coming down to the Northern College of Acupuncture? What advice would you give them?
If you were considering studying at the Northern College of Acupuncture in York, I would definitely recommend it. It's really, really easy to get to from Scotland. I lived in Edinburgh while I was studying, and the train is really reasonably quick, 2.5 hours on the train. It's very quiet that time in the morning, and you can get a bit of sleep on the way down and do a bit of studying on the train, and it's a very nice train journey as well. So whilst it may seem like a long way to go, it isn't so much, and it's just such a nice welcoming experience when you get to the Northern College as well. They have kitchen facilities and everything, so you can prepare your own food, and sort of it's like a home from home, even though it's that distance away.
And did you have to stay over then, Jill? And how did that work? What happened, sort of, when you were actually down at the college for weekends?
Yeah, when I was studying at Northern College of Acupuncture, I did a homestay. So I rented just a room from a lady, a really lovely lady in York. It was very reasonable. She had rooms that she rented out to several acupuncture students. Private room, and very comfortable. She let me use her kitchen facilities, and yeah, it was nice and peaceful away from the family, and I really enjoyed my homestay away from when I was down at York.
What made you decide initially to become an acupuncturist, Jill? What was that? Where did that decision come from?
I decided to become an acupuncturist for a couple of reasons, really. I had experienced a bout of ill health myself after an awful lot of stress and various things, and life kind of got on top of me a bit, and I went to see a really terrific acupuncturist who helped put me back together again and get my life back on track. And at the same time, I was looking for a career change. I was in a job that I wasn't very happy with, and I became very interested in the acupuncture and why it was making me feel better, and also the lifestyle and diet advice that he was giving me was really interesting to me as well. It was a really different perspective on health than anything that I'd heard from the conventional medicine routes that I've been down. I just became very interested in that sort of holistic approach of healthcare, and I had always been interested in healthcare, and that I knew that was somewhere where I wanted to work. But the fact that acupuncture looks at that everything, and that it's a very natural and gentle therapy, and that there's so much, it's so much about how you live your life as well, that really appealed to me, really struck a chord for me. So I then decided that I wanted to be an acupuncturist too.
Any regrets?
None whatsoever. It's been the best thing. Three things that have been the best things in my life: marrying my husband, having my children, and becoming an acupuncturist. They're the three things, and I would say it's kind of made my life pretty much perfect, I would say.